I don't think I have.
Morning, ladies and gentlemen. I'd like to welcome everybody to our Oct-4 Commissioners Court meeting. Let the record reflect that we have a quorum. All commissioners are here, except for Commissioner McIntyre. I'd like to call the meeting to order and ask that y'all please stand and join me in the pledge of allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic which stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible.
Would y'all please bow your heads for a moment of prayer? Lord, thank you for all the many blessings you have bestowed upon us. Thank you for this precious rain that you've been giving us to relieve the drought situation that we've been under all this time. Forgive us of our sins and thank you for our many blessings. I pray, Lord, that the actions we take will be pleasing unto you. In your name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
Item number 4, public comments. We do not have any. Item number 5, announcement. Possible discussion of items of public or community interest for which no action will be taken. I think we had a great county fair and rodeo last week. I didn't get any numbers on the totals, but
they said it was over what they did last year.
I heard numbers like $500,000 or something like that.
Yeah, it says it's over more than they had last year.
The DCF contacted me and said there's something in the order of $620,000. But they're also counting the add-ons.
Well, I had the good fortune of being able to go with my 2 daughters to Phoenix. Thank God for Frontier Airlines. Fly there for $88 round trip. Got to see 2 of them. Got to see the Astros move around and end up first place. And we had a great time, but I was unable to be there and at the sale. I sent my 6 bits worth and the add-ons as well. Glad they had a great event there last year.
I was there. I mean, I was at the sale.
I don't know you anything, really. I appreciate it. Anything else that we need to throw out there at this time? Guess we'll move on down to I guess we'll start at the top. Consideration, discussion, possible vote to approve 2024 law-based schedule for Jacinto. I haven't looked at it very closely, but I do know the federal government changed Columbus Day to whatever they call it these days. We had a bit of a knee-jerk reaction. I think we had taken Columbus Day off, and I see the schedule for para is back in there. Columbus/Indigenous Peoples Day, which is still a holiday for all the county employees that they value, and so on and so forth. There it is for y'all to peruse. I have a motion by Commissioner Brandon. I have a second by Commissioner Jacinto. Let me take another peek. Some of them land square in the middle of the street, and it's hard to move. A lot of times we try to connect them to it. Any comments? All in favor say aye. Any opposed? The ayes have it, unanimous, 4-0. Item number 11, consideration, discussion, and possible vote to approve 2024 Commissioners Court schedule for St. Louis.
One I saw here was
Very last.
very last, yeah.
Yeah, I know I didn't see that. I didn't know that. Do it. We're gonna draw a line through, the last one on the list, which the computer placed on Christmas Day. You can always, if need be, for paying bills, things of that nature, we can always, call a special meeting if necessary. I have a motion by Commissioner Brandon. I have a second by Commissioner Natuno. Approve the list with everything on there but the last date that the computer had put on there, Christmas Day. We've certainly done this schedule. Any other comments? All in favor say aye. Any opposed? The ayes have it, it's unanimous, 4-0. Item number 12, consideration, discussion, and possible vote to approve 2024, 2025 board of directors nominations.
This is just a nomination, we'll come back and vote on it later date. Well, I like to see Scott Bobby serve.
I would like to see Michael Will stay on there. I think we have another option.
Is Corbell our nominee, or is it Shepherd?
He's ours. That's
I
good.
know he was supposed,
Shepherd.
I know in years past, he was supposed to have made it on there, and I think then we put it on there.
Shepherd could, what's the one used to be?
Yeah.
Lawyer. William Kate.
Mr. Robert.
Yeah, that's who Shepherd could. Mike,
We could make, it's not, we could make a nominee for each position, that don't mean you would, we're not casting our votes.
yes. If we nominate more than we did in the last year, we could have got 3.
No, you mentioned your name.
Sky's 5 each. Chris, y'all let him know y'all. David?
We got some, I haven't talked to him, and I wouldn't want to nominate somebody with that.
Yeah, what about Terry Hunter?
There you go.
I hadn't talked to him, but I bet he would. Just a nomination. I know we need to do 3 because what happened.
Well, if it's just nominations, we need to call him between now and when the ballots come out, and if he says, no, I doesn't want to be considered, then we got it. that in the form of a motion?
I'll make that motion with the Michael Rail, I'll make Michael Rail, Scott's Bobby, and carry over.
I have a motion by Commissioner Mars, second by Commissioner Jacinto. Any other comments? All in favor say aye. Any opposed? Ayes have it, unanimous, 4-0. Number 13, I put on here. Number 14, the grant writers put on here. They're all pretty much the same subject matter. 13, consideration, discussion, possible vote to approve application of contractor for demolition of the dying properties. 14, consideration, discussion, and possible vote to approve 3 to 5 demolition contractor for professional demolition services for the Jacinto County CDBG-DR voluntary buyout program GL contract 2006-6020 C-135. 15, consideration, discussion, possible vote to approve, take action, and store qualification packages for professional demolition services. Jacinto County CDBG-DR voluntary buyout program GL contract 2006-6020 C-135.
That's the only thing we can do on this, is just select 3 to 5, because we don't have bid packages.
Well, they're not really bid packages, but that's what they put on there. I've sent them twice, Sherry sent them once or twice. I guess I'll put it back. Statements of qualifications. Everybody's had it for 2 weeks. Like I say, I don't know about having a score, and that's what you would do. Because what we're going to do is we're going to pick 3 to 5, like they said, and then each, that puts you on the list to be able to perform the work. And then with each house that gets demolished down there, you'll have to put a price on each one of them. You might want to bid on all 40 of them, or you might just be interested in doing about 5 of them. I mean,
That's my understanding was the community understands, because we pick the 3 to 5, and then we send that list to grant people. Then they send out the bid to the folks to pick, then they bring them out and give us a bid on what it's cost per truck. Is that correct?
They will take them around to the locations and let them view it, and then they will bid on that.
And that's in the store.
Yes.
Another couple of months, they won't have probably nothing to bid on.
well, I had an inquiry yesterday. A lady called down there living in something worse than what we were fixing to demolish, and she wanted to know how to acquire it. I called the grant people. By the way, is Aaron here?
No.
With Grant Works?
No.
They're not here? Wow. That's what we do. Well, the last time I called and told them, they said they could not be here. They said they'd have somebody, they wanted to be here, and they'll have somebody here. Is anybody here from Grant Works? Maybe not named Aaron, but named whatever. No one's here. It doesn't mean, if y'all look, are y'all comfortable with picking 3 to 5?
That's fine,
No, there's not 9 of them. There's somebody named ESW out of Beaumont. ESW out of Beaumont, Texas. Grant McKay out of Houston. Albo LLC. Out of Austin, no, that's not good. It's on here somewhere, I don't know. There's more than 5 or 2 places. Outlaws out of Bryan, Texas. A Fresh Vision out of Navasota. Sci-Tech Omni Services out of Alma, Texas. JWTC out of Tomball, Texas. C4 Land Management, Cold Springs, Texas. C4 Land Management. That's a young man named Bradley Caden. Lives behind Chico. R&DI Companies out of Hempstead. PBG Contractors out of Splendora. Now, the young man that brought that package in, his name is, he must work for him. His name is Taylor. His mama works at the bank here in the Cleveland State Bank. Two of them have people that live in the county, wherever that's worth.
I want last question about that VSW. The grant today, because obviously they're.
That's what I was going to say. I noticed on one, I caught one that saw that they were recently reinstated. That means they've been debarred before. Is anybody here from any of these companies here that are bidding on wanting to do the demolition for the buyout, below the dam and then trails in? And I think there's one, or there may be some in Cedar Valley as well. But the buyout, Harvey buyout, nobody? Is that a load on there?
Yeah, probably. First two.
Non-suspension notice for the city of Victoria.
That means at one point there would be guard, but it wouldn't be great. They get back on it, just have to get
It shows that they got a non-suspension notice, so they're back on the list. Been off of it.
They've been off of this way.
I don't even know that recently reactivated. They're out of Utah, westbound for Utah. So, I probably had one of those somewhere, but I think yours is right handy for it. How many do we want to pick? 3 or 5?
Right, issues on 2 of them, didn't you, already?
Yes.
They locked them out and done them all.
Okay, that'll leave 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
Any other ones? People out of Utah?
Well, that's one of the ones on that list today. I mean, they just suggested 3 to 5. If we want to let the 7 that weren't just off the D-bar list,
Well, who's to say the grant work we're gonna look for and say this is what.
Well, the grant work over through, so they're gonna have to send out the video.
That's what I'm saying, they not just ball box on them.
okay, so the 2 that have issues with prior debarments are Grant McKay and DSW, but that leaves with A Fresh Vision Enterprises, Sci-Tech Omni, Albo LLC, JWTC, C4 Land Management, R&DI Companies, PBG Contractors. I'd entertain a motion.
We send approved list of bids back out to.
I'll second.
Let me approve those as the contractors and the grant works, go over for, that's correct. That's what you think, that's what you think. Yeah. So, all right, I have a motion by Commissioner Brandon, second by Commissioner Mars to say that, approve acreage, Albo, JWTC, C4 land, Any other comments or concerns? All in favor say aye. Any opposed? The ayes have it unanimous, 4-0. Well, not, I guess,
Storage, we know they're actually bid prices, but they're going to be
and so let's just make it on 13 and 14.
Oh, 13, 14, 15, because we're going to be scoring based off the bid that they can.
Well, it says take consideration, approve, take action, and score qualification. And score, that's not, we didn't score, but we did approve this. Well, that's what I'm. Yeah. We approved 13 and 14, correct? Yeah, okay. Everybody clear? All right. Okay. I don't think there's much use for them. They all have the bond and the insurance, they're gonna say, I'm gonna do this one. Each house will be done individually, so the last time, I think I don't know.
You have one vendor for that thing project, that's a GLO, so two different.
Well, I'll do this one for $7,000. I'll do this one for $14,000. This one here that's already burned in, I'll do it for $2,500. All I need is this for As far as the salvage, I think that would be, anybody that's interested in anything out there, and that's the way I understand it. They want, $7,500 to allow them to join the home. I haven't seen them walk. Everything I looked at so far,
Savage, that's what
there are some in there, not the ones that are closed. This will be throughout the process. We don't have to come back and the next set to get ready, they're closed and they're ready to tear down. All right, item number 16, consideration, discussion, and possible vote to approve agreement between Texas Division of Emergency Management, Feeding and San Jacinto. Let's go back. I think so. I wasn't here. I always wondered if we ever signed a contract
We get off there.
to tie into the FEMA project. I don't ever remember doing one, but I wasn't here then.
No, you want that, but I found it in 2015, the range force. They had it sometime because they paid everything that was last year. And, now they think, nobody knows where it's at, so this is what now, which is going to go up and go over and we start having it, 2 years ago.
It's pretty good.
Yeah. Or, I went through, we went through, yeah.
Y'all ever remember doing a contract?
It's a term of grace, standard term of grace. Forty-two.
Well, anyway, they done paid out. We're getting towards the end and they realize they don't have one of these, so we need one. If we don't have a valid contract, I don't even think about what we have to do.
Oh,
Yeah.
oh, David's budget. Nephew.
He said that when he nephew.
Oh, no. He's not receiving any.
No, no, I don't think we.
The good
Oh,
spaceship.
yeah, they put on, or they, no, they got a name for it.
Oh, public officials.
No, they came here, actually. When they came, they did that same presentation, and he was going to speak. We've done bigger and better things.
Last week.
I'm sure he's just doing bigger and better things.
I don't know. We heard nothing about it before his dad did pass away. Oh, yeah. He knew his father.
All right, on number 16, I have a motion by Commissioner Brandon, second by Commissioner Jacinto. The board should be that be us. Oh, we have to vote it out. Looks like a boilerplate agreement. Sure of that. They didn't know that they've already put on the road, so they're just like, they're not. I'm gonna sign this on your behalf, Mr. President. Any other comments on this? All in favor say aye. Any opposed? The ayes have it, it's unanimous, 4-0. Item number 17, consideration, discussion, possible vote to approve on continuing to use enterprise lease program trucks for the criminal investigations division current lease ends November 2023.
Morning. I sent you guys information, but I also brought a copy of it too, if y'all need copies of it. I sent it.
I didn't get in my packet.
Yes, sir. I sent an email. I know a couple people responded, but I do have copies of it. I didn't get any return.
So my question is, why are we going back to Dodge? Why are we going back to Dodge?
Well, be fortunate, very fortunate we have the opportunity to drive Dodge.
So that's a good question, and the reason right now is General Motors they had a very short window of water banks that was pretty much open and closed within a couple of days, and Ram is the only one of the three that has open water banks right now to go directly to the manufacturer. Ford does not, so that's why Ram is the option if you decided to replace vehicles. With that being said, I guess I'll let...
Throw some chains in there, we can pull some of the cords around.
Sure. Yeah, that's where, to kind of summarize what was sent out, I think last week, my lieutenant, is y'all are in a good spot. There's no, let's do this, let's not. It really comes down to, I guess, preference. Is one thing if you want to stay in the vehicles or not. If you do decide to replace them, the payment would go up about $50 a month per vehicle. My recommendation, keep in mind it's up to you guys, would probably be to hold the Chevys another year. And the reason why is you'll be based on the mileage. I mean, the most you have is 10,000 to 12,000 miles on a truck. Most of them have about 7,000 miles on them right now. And we anticipate, I can't go too deep into the crystal ball, that incentives will start going back up on the vehicles, and having another year to build the equity in the vehicles will benefit you. And then next year, I think we can either maintain that payment that you guys have around $800 per truck, or even decrease it, and perhaps even have more options when it comes to the manufacturers for it. So just saying that, you're in a good spot now. If you order the Rams, you'll be in a good spot there too. But so those are kind of the options. Just wanted to review and see if there's any questions or what those thoughts were.
So the window to order are all different times for different models, like Ford,
Yes, sir. It used to be traditionally around August, September, all three manufacturers opened up, but based on COVID and just restraints, they're just they each do it in separate entities. So Ram's open right now. Ford's just private allocation, and then Chevy, like I said, had their small window. There's rumors there could be Chevy order banks opening late fall, early after that, but those are just rumors. So. What we do know is you've got trucks that are in good shape you can continue using. If the Chevy order banks open, and that's what y'all want to replace them with in a couple of months, I can come back out with pricing that looks good. We can go from there.
I think you sold us on the premise that we could lease trucks for a year and then sell them, and then we have very little capital truck. Almost. Somebody may be the thought. But if it keeps you those 12 months, it's not going to be.
What do you mean by profit?
Well, basically use the truck for free.
Yes. So
Profit, that's when you come out with more than you had when you started.
right. Just with the equity in there. So, for instance, on these vehicles, your monthly payments, you've put in about what's called $7,000 in 9 months times your $800 payment. And right now, if we sold the trucks, each one would be about $3,200. So to operate a vehicle over the year, based on you paid $8,000, look up $3,000. So the operational cost on these trucks right now is about $3,500 a year, based on that. That number. Yeah, so that's how it looks there.
You're saying, well, hang on with what we got.
I would.
What's your position?
Either way, I mean, we're good with either one. I mean, after looking at everything, if we went to the Dodges, it wouldn't be that much more than initially thought, like $100 or $200 more per unit. But either way, whatever the court decides, then we're good with keeping them, or we're good with
I know that, but
selling them.
we won't know what.
Well, I think last year when we did it, we brought in $37,000 after they sold the original trucks, and then went to these, and then.
I think he's basically saying that that's probably in the case this year, based on the
Right.
market.
So is the maintenance records, maintenance are going to be the same?
Yes, sir. It'll still be on the fixed budget units, but great question.
The key thing is they don't have about 7,000 miles on them, and that's probably why they leaning that away. If I'm thinking what you're saying out, probably.
So 14,000 miles more on them, and it's good.
Yeah, there's no wrong answer here. It just comes down to preference and what you guys want to do with it. So we're in a good spot.
At first, my thought process was do like we just did with the Rams, like Mr. Matuno said. I don't see them bringing that much, what they can bring now versus in another 12 months. But then after, hearing this, I mean, either way, we're good with it. I just don't see it bringing that much more in a year than they would now. And if Dodge is open, obviously we missed the Chevy deal, and that was, a few months ago, and they didn't even announce that. So either way, I think we're still sitting in pretty good shape, whatever you guys decide. Yes, sir, and that's pretty average the last 3 years, or since we went this program, that's what we're averaging. So we're still sitting good on the mileage as far as, not turning them in with 20,000 plus miles on them. So, but again, hang on to them, you're gonna add another 13,000 miles next year than what we have now. So.
Surely that the truck over, how long were we in the last?
Yes, that is a typo there. What happened is maybe that vehicle hasn't been for an oil change yet, or it did, and the shop just hasn't sent us an invoice. Sometimes shops can delay 90 days or so before we get that data to input it there. But yeah, but based on the conversation, it should have somewhere around 7,000 miles on it as well.
So what is the mileage gonna be on that? Go from the 12 months.
What happens is we'll extend it out. Your payments will stay the same, and I think right now we've got y'all for, I think it's 12 to 15,000 miles a year. So you're under 12, yeah. So you'll stay at that, and yeah, we have them at 15,000 miles a year. So
Whatever our mileage is, you're gonna add 15,000 to it when we look at it at the end of the year. That's what you think.
Don't need to be able to.
correct, yeah. In a year, I mean, we have it set up if you're to drive 15. If you're under it, that's great. You know, so
You don't need to go over 30.
which you're on pace to go well under that. So you'll be,
I have a motion by Commissioner Barnes. I have a second by Commissioner Brandon to keep the same ones we have and go another year if I got it right. Any other questions or comments? All in favor say aye. Any opposed? Ayes have it, unanimous 4-0.
thank you all very much.
You got any paperwork for me to sign?
No, sir. They'll email you the lease extensions once they get to 12 months. They're in month 9 right now, so you'll be getting that in a couple of months.
Paperwork come a couple of months, okay, anybody hear that?
Say $500
Good. Thank you very much, young man.
Thank you all very much. Have a good day.
I'll stay dry. Item number 18, consideration, discussion, possible vote for approved presentation of outside audit by Lewis Breedlove of Brooks Watson and Company for the year ending 9/30/2022. I'm sorry, I should, the meter was running, I should have started you off.
Oh, you're good. I appreciate it. Good morning, Judge and members of the court. I appreciate you guys having me. My name is Lewis Breedlove, Senior Audit Manager of the squad, and I have the pleasure of working with the county for the last fiscal year. We did, pleased to inform you that we had a great audit. And this is our second year doing an audit for the county. It was not quite the second year for Caroline as the auditor for the county. And she's done a lot of work to get things in good shape for the audit. So I'm just really pleased with how things are going. For you, I have.
Can y'all hear that?
Oh, sorry about that. Okay. You got a little
Want a copy?
Okay. Oh, that sounds like it. There you go. So in front of you, you have a bound copy of the audit report, as well as a couple of handouts that go with that, a couple letters. And then I use a presentation that's printed out there for you. I like to use that to go over the results of the audit. So if you want to follow along with me there, just after that cover page, the second slide there, I like to go over this overview of the audit process. So just make sure you're all with me. It's this one here, inside the front cover of that, there's a bound copy. So it looks like this in front of you. Just inside that front cover is I have those printouts for you. So on that second slide there, it's go over the overview of the audit process, just give you a general understanding of kind of some of the things that we're doing during the audit. So first, we do make sure that we're performing the audit, and of course, we generally set the auditing standards. And so when we come out, there's various phases of the audit. The first phase being the assessment phase. So you come out, you look at pretty much any area where money's coming in and money's going out. We're evaluating the processes that are in place. We're looking to see what type of controls are in place. What kind of documented procedures there may be, and we sit down in each of those departments to get an understanding of what those look like, make sure that what we see on paper and what is being verbalized to us is consistent, making sure we can provide any feedback for maybe room for efficiency improvements or control improvements. And then as we're doing that, we also sample test each of those areas, so we're going to be able to see if what we see in function and activity is consistent with that. And, just to make sure everything is as it should be. Once we've done that, we move to our risk-based approach. And so what that means is each financial statement line item within your report has a different type of a risk associated with it. So, and we evaluate that year to year. So that will change the type of procedure we do, the level of detail that we perform those procedures on for each aspect of the financials to ensure that we are comfortable with the material accuracy of the financials from the auditors. Next, we move to compliance testing. So that's going to be things such as Public Fund Investment Act, bid requirements for the county, things such as your grant or what is single item necessary for the year, just those grant funds being utilized. So things of that nature, we review all meeting minutes that you have to ensure that anything that you may have approved, that there may be some kind of compliance aspect to it. We're evaluating that to ensure that is also being followed. Next, that's when we move to the actual fieldwork phase, as we call it, where we're testing the financials at year end. So tying out those confirmations to the balance sheet where possible to get third-party confirmation. And then also perform cutoff procedures to make sure that the activity that is being performed is within the right fiscal year. And as we're tying out that balance sheet, we are testing material accuracy of your revenues and your expenses. Once those procedures are performed and complete, it goes through various levels of review to ensure that all necessary testing procedures have been performed, and then we'll prepare the report and the letters that we have for you today. All right, moving on to the next slide there, that components of the annual report. Let's just give you a quick overview of what's all within this non-confidential report. So there's the auditor's opinion letter, that's our opinion, the letter of our opinion for the financials for the year. Behind that's the management's discussion and analysis. So that's going to give you from year-to-year comparison, give you a little bit of language related to some high-level activity related to capital, long-term debt, things of that nature, and budget. Behind that, your basic financial statements. That's going to contain your fund level statements as well as your government-wide statements. So that's a full accrual. And then behind that, your notes to the financial statements, which is going to give you some detail pertaining to those numbers. So if you were to go through those, it should give you some detailed schedules and things of that nature to give you a better feel for some of those numbers and what they consist of. Behind that, your required supplementary information, so that's things such as your budget to actuals for your general fund, and then behind that is some other supplementary information. All right, moving on to slide 4 there, auditor's opinion letter. As I referred to previously, that first part of that report is the auditor's opinion letter. So there are 4 opinion types that we as auditors are able to provide. There's an unmodified, qualified, disclaimed, or an adverse opinion. I'm pleased to let you know that there was an unmodified opinion, often referred to as a clean opinion, and that's the highest level of assurance that we as auditors are able to provide. All right, moving on to slide 5 there, I got some financial highlights for you as it relates to fund balance as of the year and in comparison year over year from the previous year to give you a look at the change in fund balance. The general fund looks good, had an ending fund balance of $5.2 million, overall increase of 1.4. That's primarily due to a strong budget and also the timing of expenses, which resulted in expenses coming in under budget for the year, which we'll get into a look at the budget here in a minute. And then looking at other funds, so Road and Bridge 1, we saw a slight decrease of 125, ending fund balance of just over $1 million. Road and Bridge 2, I saw an increase here of $206,000, ending balance of $574. Road Bridge 3, slight decrease there, $203,000, ending balance of $917,000. And then Road Bridge 4, we saw pretty consistent ins and outs, so a slight minor change of $1,282. That American Rescue Plan, that's kind of that grant from those ARPA funds, we saw there an overall increase of $443. Some of the utilization of those funds, but also 2022 had that second tranche of those funds coming in. So overall, we saw an increase of
I think we had a little bit left in the first tranche, and we added to the second. So we went up with all that. We got to spend that by like 25 to 26.
It's gonna be obligated by the end.
Yeah, that won't be hard for you guys to do. And then all other funds, so that's a lump category, so it's considered non-major funds, and so overall those are all specific special purpose restricted funds, and those are where overall we saw an increase there of $669,000 in fund balance, with an ending fund balance of 4.9 for all those funds. Overall, all the funds were in line with our expectations. Fund balances look good, no cause for concern. So we were pleased with those results. I'm happy to see it. And next slide there, 6, gets a closer look at your general fund balance. So, and the results for the year. So overall, your budget results, and this is the summarized version. There is a detailed version on page 63 of the report. So overall, your revenues came in a little over what were expected for the budget, with $586,000, so a positive variance there. For expenditures, you came in under budget by $1,083,000. A lot of times that's due to timing, especially right now with a lot of resources, restrictions, and kind of wait for things to come in and things of that nature. So part of that may be due to timing, part of that may be due to changing plans. So I'm not sure if all the good results are the causes for that, but assuming you were able to accomplish the things you were able to accomplish for the year, that looks great, being that far under budget for the expenditures. And then the other sources and uses, that's going to be transfers and things of that nature. We have a positive variance there of $445,000. So overall, net positive budget variance of $1.7 million. The sign of a very healthy fiscal budget for the year.
Say that over,
Very healthy. That's what you want to hear. Yeah. And then GFOA recommends that governments maintain a minimum unrestricted fund balance of at least 2 months. That's 60 days or approximately 16% of the fiscal year.
2 months?
That's the minimum
I've
recommended.
been doing this since '98, on and off, and I've always heard it.
So the minimum recommendation is 2 months. So most have a target of anywhere between 30 to 50%, which is going to be more in line with that three months or more range. And so the county did have an unrestricted fund balance of 45.
Everybody here listens to what I say, and you said 2 months, and then wait a minute. Oh, they were fixing to ask, so
Oh yeah, so yeah, that is the minimum, and we will be always highly encouraged more than that. 25% is kind of like more of a guided recommendation for a minimum from us, but typically 30% and then up to 50% is very common internal policy set for a lot of these topics. So you guys are at 45.5% for 2022. So right in range of that normal target. So that's a sign of a healthy fund balance of unrestricted portions. And just to add a little bit about that, what that looks like and what that means is just what does it look like for that percentage. What does it look like is if your expenditures were to be consistent next year, it's that following year, how far would you be able to operate into that next year without taking any funds? Which you obviously would, but if you had to utilize that reserve, how far would you be able to operate? It'd be approximately 45% into that year. And so that's a good target to have. And so the fund balance looks good. Next is a communication letter. So those are the 2 other letters that come with the report. That first one, it's a lot of standard required communication to you all related to our responsibility as the auditors for the audit, management's responsibility. And there's a few things I like to always pull out from that. That I like to communicate. 1, the audit was conducted in compliance with all ethics requirements regarding independence. 2, we had no difficulties encountered when working with management. And then 3, there were no uncorrected misstatements identified. That second letter is communication regarding internal controls. This is where we would identify any areas of concern, material weakness, anything like that. I'm happy to report last year we came with several items that we wanted to make recommendations on, improvements on. And so many of those have been eliminated from the letter this year. And so we're happy to see that, and overall I think we're looking really good. With that, I'll come to any questions you might have.
So it's only one recommendation.
Yes, and so those recommendations, and then there's also an FYI on there as well, which concerning a new gathering announcement that's effective for this year, related to subscription-based IT arrangements. And so something that we're looking at with some municipalities are getting it heavily by that, others it doesn't impact them too much, but it's something that we want to go out there. But talking with Caroline, many of the adjustments that were necessary the previous year were eliminated. There's been a lot of improvements made, and so a few adjustments that were necessary for 2023 were far less, and we were discussing over how to make it those not necessarily last year as well. So we're looking together to make that more of a streamlined process as well. And so we're happy with the progress that's been made in the past year. Absolutely, and my contact information is there, so if you think of a question after the meeting, make sure I'm sure to ask about that. And just don't hesitate to reach out. Always happy to communicate.
So let me ask this about engagement for the year we just closed out. Is something we're going to be pursuing?
Yeah, I'll put it on probably in November. I'll have to get something from him, and then I'll put it on the agenda for November.
Yeah, it doesn't pay to fiddle around and wait too late. We had deadlines. We appreciate it.
Absolutely.
Good job. Glad to hear that.
Yeah, I'll do it too.
Yeah, I agree with
Good
that.
job.
There's a lot of, I really appreciate the team you guys have here.
She does a good job.
Yeah, you guys got a good team here, so I'm excited to see the future of the county and what you guys are doing. This is the team you guys have here, and the processes that they're implementing, the things that they're making, the changes to from an efficiency standpoint, it's always good to see. So, I love to see that in auditor, so. Well, thank you all.
Thank you very much. You don't need any action. Item number 19 is consideration, discussion, and possible vote to approve the yearly report renewal for January 1st, 2024 to January 1st, 2025. That's how they do that. Now, they don't time it with our fiscal year. Man, who did purchase a drone? That's considered unmanned there.
No, because their due date is way before the court. From the time you get it from them, their due date, you do not have to go down to the commission.
I'll make the most of
I got a motion by Commissioner Brandon. I have a motion by Deputy Dahl, most simultaneous. Have a motion by Commissioner Brandon, a second by Commissioner Tindall. Any questions or comments? All in favor say aye. Any opposed? The ayes have it, it's unanimous. 4-0. Thank you very much. Number 20, consideration, discussion, and possible vote to approve proclamation for Domestic Violence Awareness Month of October. Anybody here say that? Very good.
Good morning. First of all, our bingo fundraiser for Jacinto County. If you guys allow us to use this room, we brought in $6400. So we appreciate that. It was good for us, good for the community.
I think it was a great turnout. I have to admit, I thought the notice was a little bit short, and I thought, I hope they do well, and then I heard what y'all did, that's good.
Thank you. Thank you. So would you like me to read this proclamation, or do you have a copy?
Well, let me see. You welcome to, that's usually what I read, and definitely approve it. So,
You're talking about.
Pardon? I'm trying.
I have a motion by Commissioner Brandon to approve it. Second by Commissioner Barnes. All in favor say aye. Any opposed? The ayes have it, unanimous, 4-0. You're more than welcome to read it. I never had a volunteer. Go right there.
Okay, proclamation for Domestic Violence Awareness Month. Whereas the crime of domestic violence violates an individual's privacy and dignity, security, and humanity due to the systematic use of physical, emotional, sexual, physiological, and economic control and/or abuse, including abuse of children and the elderly. And whereas the problems of domestic violence are not confined to any group or groups of people, but cut across all economic, racial, and social barriers, and are supported by social indifferences. And whereas the impact of domestic violence is wide-ranging, directly affecting individuals and society as a whole, here in this community throughout the United States and the world. And whereas survivors of domestic violence themselves have been at the forefront of efforts to bring peace and equality to the home. Now therefore, in recognition of the important work done by the domestic violence programs such as Safe House, y'all do hereby proclaim the month of October to be Domestic Violence Awareness Month. In San Jacinto County, we urge all citizens to actively participate in the scheduled activities and programs to work toward eradicating domestic violence, improving victim safety, and holding perpetrators of domestic abuse accountable for their actions against individual victims and our society as a whole.
Thank you so much.
I was hoping it was gonna be him.
Item number 21, consideration, discussion, and possible vote to approve the application to allow partial lot conveyance without a replat for Paul Malatesta and wife Margaret Malatesta, Arlene A. Fries, and David Van Staten, and wife Mariska Van Staten. Anybody here on that? Mr. Jones, present.
Well, the judges out of town, they can pack it on everybody else right here. Taxes have been paid, and if you look at the law, wow, just kind of trading property, moving that one line on the law. There's a letter in here from the Cape, Cape Royal, saying, Cape Royal, saying it's okay, for parkland. And the guy wants to take these up here.
Do you have a problem with it? I'm not gonna motion.
I have a motion by Commissioner Mars, second by Commissioner Jacinto. Any questions? Let's see, the plat here.
You should have a roof.
When I put this blue ink on it, it would come on there. Tax certificate, letter you referred to. Tax certificate, village district. Any other questions? All in favor say aye. Any opposed? The ayes have it, it's unanimous, 4-0. Item number 22, consideration, discussion, possible vote to approve the OSSF form changes for TCEQ audit.
Good morning.
One.
So we submitted a packet of the new forms that were requested from the TCEQ audit. They did ask us to try to mirror the TRA septic program through the, through the best in our area that we can go and learn from. So that's what we've done. We've taken their forms and made them our own.
I think one of the first questions in y'all's mind may be why do we do forms? As Trish mentioned to you,
Back in May of this year, the TCEQ came in to investigate and full review, a compliance review on the OSSF procedures and policies. According to their letter, as an authorized agent of the Texas Commissioner and Commission on Environmental Quality, the county is charged with the responsibility of enforcing minimum standards for the design, construction, installation, and operation of the OSSF process. The compliance review findings and recommended actions are described in an action item list. This was from a letter that the judge received on the 14th of July. And attached to this letter was 3 pages of non-compliance. Okay. We had a discussion with the judge, came up with a letter that would respond to this. And if I could just kind of read from it for a minute. After receipt of your July 14th review letter, it appears that the county does indeed have some administrative, installation, inspection, documentation, and record-keeping issues that need to be addressed. In fact, the entire program should have an internal audit and review. Now, we've been through this process literally since May, when this audit was going through. Ms. Basham asked me to come in, take a look at it from about 3,000 or 4,000 feet, and say, you know, what do we need to do here? That we did. And we've had several follow-up meetings with TCEQ. That's when they suggested that we kind of take a look at other people's programs. And that's what we did. And when we put it into the record that this court and this present management did not create this problem. And for the record, they inherited it. And by the judge answering this, this court and this present management is committing themselves to correct it. And that's what we're doing. I took a look at this thing from top to bottom, and there are some public changes that will need to be approved. First of all, the on-site sewage facility permit application, which is in your package, does have some changes to it. The original one did not have or request the information that we need for the new regulations at TCEQ. That has been corrected on this form. There's also a letter of instruction to the applicants. It appears more complicated. It really isn't, but it is more information. One of our major problems that we had from this the original application, it was not properly filled out and was not sent back to the applicant to receive the information that we needed. This form, properly used, will solve that problem. Okay. The other minor issues that we have for the public stuff, our on-site storage facility affidavit, an affidavit to the public was incorrect. There's actually 4 different affidavits that must be used. The county was only using one. We had modified this particular affidavit to take care of 4, and we have reduced it to 1, but it requires additional information. One of the other application needs was an OSSF landscaping plan, which is a contract between the installer and the owner and the county, saying that they will do the landscaping that they need to do to comply. We had not been using that form at all. Is that something TCEQ wants us to do, or is it something that we already did? Or the road and that?
Both. Yeah. This is required in all cases as part of the regulations. The other one was some changes that needed to be developed in the normal development permit. Does anyone have a question? The normal development permit had to have some modifications on it. Again, there was a lack of information that we were not requesting that needed to be on there. Again, there's also a preamble of instructions.
Without saying it, you also, looks like you're, first of all, you're taking out the 10-acre rule. We still have the 10-acre rule.
Yes, we do.
And this says all, it doesn't say for those under 10 acres.
That
It
is-
says all, and you're circumventing what we put in place years ago with the 10-acre rule. You're also cutting out anybody that says here, if your property has an existing system, you're cutting out the grandfather rule as well, because you're saying, if there's an existing system, then everybody has to go get it re-inspected, pay some guy $4,500 to go re-inspect. And then the last thing I caught this right off the top is that your property was cut out of another tract of land, you gotta go get a new survey. Well, that's not all. There are people here capable of getting a lawyer, there's qualified lawyers in the county or out of the county that are capable of drawing up field notes. You got 40 acres here, you want to give your son 2 acres?
Well, if they could produce an as-built plan, I think we could look at it. Most people
I'm just
don't.
saying, you make every person that does something have to have a new survey.
No, what we're saying is every
That's what it
person,
says, man.
every person has to have an as-built drawing that matches that. Now, normally you will get a survey.
Can't you just change that word and say, oh, we.
I mean, you might give them, you gave them 10 acres of land, I guess. If I knew how to do that, take him out of the corner and divide, draw the field notes up and give him 10 acres, he's subject to the 10 acre, over the 10 acres, 10.01 acres. And why would he need a survey if he don't?
Well, that's what the current regulations of the state say. I agree with you, that there may be some
I think that's
certain,
what y'all want to put on there, but.
I agree with you, but it's what the regulation says. Now,
What regulations exactly are you talking about?
PCEQ regulations, most of them come in 336, some of them come in 330. A lot of them are in the Texas Administrative Code. Some of them are in the local government code. So this takes a pretty good amount of
We
research.
still have the option on the 10 acre review, and the court voted to do that, but put all of them, circumvent what was put in place years ago.
Well, Commissioner's Court always has the option of issue a variance or a waiver.
I just want to know what they're doing here.
Well, that's a good question. I don't know, but what I'm repeating is what it comes out of the state regulation. House Bill 3697 may take away some of those rights. I don't know that. I'll be perfectly honest with you. But that's what the state regulation says.
Yeah, you showed me the regulation that says that everybody has to get a survey, it's a deed, you provide, I don't see anybody say that. However, I see any legislation that says to 10 acre rule, not be good.
10 acre rule does not exist in the state as a whole. It may exist in this county.
It does exist in this county.
That is correct.
Court approved it.
If House Bill 3697 allows you to do that.
If is a big word.
I agree 100%, Judge, and I don't like it any more than you do. But what do we do? There are some significant changes to what the legislation did and put into effect on September 1st. And it goes beyond my pay grade, I can assure you.
And I did have a new system. Obviously, it's got to be approved by the license secretary. If you got over 10 acres, I don't think that applies. Maybe you don't like that, but the ones that have over 10 acres, they figure that law was put into effect for a reason. People were given the right to do what they want with their property.
So the 10 acre rule only applies to one residential home. You can't go and expect to get a 10-acre rule.
Now, I got 4 kids, and if I get each one of them over 10 acres, and I'm not talking about on my piece of land,
Right.
but once it becomes their piece of land, 10, 15 acres, basically, then they have the right to, they got a 10-acre rule for their tract. I can't leave it all in my name, and you're right, then I can only put one sewer system. That's how it works.
And that may be something that, you know, each one of these individual permits need to be looked at.
We're gonna get lots of calls if the guy's got 100 acres, wants to give his child 10 acres of land. Well, I got over 10 acres, somebody, what about that 10-acre rule?
So the 10-acre rule is just like the fee, you still have to submit a plan. Instead of what you're doing, you have to put in a bill to the state regulation.
That is correct.
So, I mean, on the waivers,
Yeah.
it's 10-acre rule.
Like, you can't just go out and put, you know, you get the 10-acre rule, you can go throw in a conventional septic. It's not like it.
I disagree with you on that.
There's still rules according to the 10-acre rule.
We gotta put it in according to law. I agree, it's gotta be functional and blah, blah, blah.
Functional, it's gotta be so many feet off the property line.
If it's over 10 acres, I don't need a permit to do it. That's what it stands for.
We waive the permit fee for the 10 acres.
Give that little space.
The rest of the forms are internal. And again, if these forms are properly used, filled out, and administered and filed like they should be, you eliminate 99% of the problems on the action list. None of those forms are really known by the public. They're all internal to inspection, installation, and certification of design. And that was the bulk of the problems in the action letter list. We were not doing the administrative portion of the OSS problem or item properly.
As long as it's in the field, with building permit, how about a home permit with a large building?
A 10 by 10.
Yeah, for the development.
Anything over 10 foot or 10 foot wide.
That's how it's been since I've been there in 2017.
So if you remodel it,
It was a percentage of the size of the home.
that's what I'm asking, what is, if you remodel it?
I think it was, I had 50%.
50%.
I said 40 of it.
It kicks you into the SDI side is, and it's 50%. Anything with the construction value, 50% of the market value.
2,000 foot home and you have to do 1,000 or less, so we have to do a permit.
Also, if you're changing the occupancy, if you go buy a gas station and we'll turn it into a house, yeah, then you need a permit for that too.
You still got the 10-acre box on the farm, I see that.
So what page is that, it says it has a plot?
On that first page, it says a new survey, if your property is divided out of another.
All right, so we need to put,
A new survey or it has built on.
more field notes for it, property, I mean, verify what you're asking for.
People get told if they got a 100-acre farm, like you want to give your daughter a corner over there and you know where you want to be. You really don't want to spend $3,500 for a survey. I should.
Well, I'm just saying, all you gotta do is put little field notes in that statement, and we correct what you're asking.
I suppose.
I would agree with it.
If any on the price survey, lately, you know what I'm talking about. You can't get it, 2 acres cut out for 500 like you used to. Just start, no, the last one I thought it was $2,700.
Definitely is 1,800 on the lot.
Used to get that done for $300.
So how would you like to see the,
So you want me to take a copy of your survey or field notes?
you know, have to be something that's filed, you could be rounded up and say,
Certified.
I'm gonna get it to them.
The deed should have to be what it said.
It'll be just like,
The deed, if it's got field notes, that's how you describe land, it's a field notes. This here makes it where you went to your lawyer or whoever, you might be an engineer and you draw up your own field notes. Why would you want to go pay a surveyor to redo what you've already done? Everything else looks lovely.
If we do it by 10 months, we can satisfy that.
I just
Mark,
people,
yeah,
that's
stay there.
dangerous. Why do I have to get a new survey?
You have to do that? I think what we have to do more of these.
I don't remember a single incident where that occurred. Most of it is when a guy has 10 or 12 acres and decides to put 3 or 4 trailers on it. That's what we do.
No, I get it, I understand that that's a big difference.
That's a big difference. And that's normally what we see. I can't ever remember an incident that we had when we were coming into something that already existed.
It would cover the scenario where a guy tells you he comes in for a permit, he's just gonna put a pole barn, and the next time you go out there, there's 4 cottages sitting there.
Well, that's another whole.
Yeah.
I'm not naming names, I'm just saying.
That's a whole other.
Ms. Trish, is there something else we need to visit with?
Just the next agenda, yes, sir, and,
Okay. We'll get to that stage.
okay.
You're on the next step. So, we need a motion, I need a motion. We're gonna do this.
I'll make the appropriate change.
you can make a motion to approve with the field notes or like these,
I have a motion by Commissioner McKinnon, second by Commissioner Barnes. Did I read too much into this? Can I assume that we're just wiping out the 10-acre rule? That's not what you're trying to do,
No,
right?
not at all.
Great. Any other comments? As I said, I have a motion by Commissioner McKinnon, a second by Commissioner Barnes. All in favor say aye. Any opposed? Ayes have it, unanimous. 4-0.
Thank you, man.
Thank you.
Thank you for the hard work.
Item number 23, consideration, discussion, possible vote to review job description for code enforcement position and or make changes to be listed on the website.
Okay, so this was on last court, the previous court, I sent out an email after court with the, job description that I had to everyone.
Flooded the comments?
I got one response, the rest were crickets, but I did talk to, Donnie and Mark, and they're okay with it, just Mark minus one statement. Assist customers. So I can change that to, just, not with the permitting process, but with just assist customers and employees, because I feel that anybody that we come in contact with is a customer.
I mean, why wouldn't you want to assist customers with the process?
Let me clarify one thing, I don't want this position to sit in the office issue permanently. It says they're an assistant, you know, customer, and they may be sitting at the desk, and that is not the job description, you don't say that, that's somebody. That's not the job description.
Is she still gonna be the supervisor? If she gets bogged down and three people come in and leave together.
I just wanted that, I just wanted that. That's it.
So,
Be able to read, that's a good qualification.
but so, I don't know if y'all was in color or not. No? Okay, well, Commissioner Brandon did send some add-ons, for his changes, but it was in red, so I'm not sure that y'all can see them.
I can see it.
Okay,
Better than.
Mark, you need a color copy?
Maintain email there, you gotta check it, well, that gets me on that. I'm on the bench all day, I just don't get to do that. Have clothing and safety gear appropriate for the permit. Don't give me a call.
No, but there is a line item for code enforcement to have uniforms.
Is it gonna be hard to find somebody with
Very.
Well, that's in their manual, require training.
Yeah.
That's something one athlete come in, because it goes into the program we talked about.
It says other positive skill beneficial but not required. That's a plus. That's whatever we want to say it, that's. Sure. Good great. Get somebody.
You okay with it?
Yes, sir.
I make that motion.
I have a motion by Commissioner Mars, a second by Commissioner Brandon to approve the, job description with the changes that's been submitted. Any comments, all in favor, say aye. Any opposed? The ayes have it, it's unanimous, 4-0.
Thank you. Yes, sir.
Item number 24, consideration, discussion, and possible vote to approve the declaration of surplus to be sold through Renee Bates auction of the following items for precinct, Road Bridge Precinct 2, 1984 Mack R Series dump truck VIN number, blah, 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 asset number 091431. 2005 Ford F-250 VIN number, blah, 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 asset number 3106.
This is precinct 2 at Road Bridge. Well, the Mac is, the Ford pickup was one of the ones that was donated from Smith and Company. That one of them was sold. And a guy, I think he got some time over there.
Been in a
2025, he was a fire marshal, I think, wasn't he?
Oh, yeah, yeah.
But I still have mine, I didn't sell it. The Mack dump truck's just an old wore out dump truck. It's a two-stick Mack.
Is it running?
Yeah, nobody knows how hard to drive, it's a two-stick. Yeah.
They do. I like a tractor, my tractor's got.
Anyways, I don't know reserve on either one of them. The truck, I don't know who it belongs to, I ain't know, JR, I don't know if it's general, I don't know, general fund, I don't know who it belongs to. We use it for sanitation. That's what we use.
They come from the general fund, we need to make sure the appropriate deposits are made every.
See, I'm trying to, but just remember that. Just remember that, I'm trying to do what's right.
That's gonna bring us one hundred million.
That's right.
I'll let you know.
No reserve, no nothing.
I have a motion by Commissioner Martino. I have a second by Commissioner Brandon. Any questions? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The ayes have it, it's unanimous. 4-0. Item number 25, consideration, discussion and possible vote to approve the construction services agreement for Fostoria Tram Road between San Jacinto County 373 and PC2, pending PCQ approval. If received.
Now, we've been going through this several times, we just want to be a project in. This is what people understand, this is the construction agreement to, a long time ago, the conversation first started, about using J-Hawk, and that was the first comment for about using that program. And here last quarter, we talked about the security doctor for the oil camp, so coming off Oct-4. We're having to amend the PCC permit to allow for that. In the process, understanding in the process of doing it. If TCQ approves the permit for this, they have agreed to build that road, security traffic roads.
So do we need to take action on that or something?
Well, we need to take action because it's a little bit of contract between the county and the end of use of $2.1 million.
Are you in urgency with it?
That's what we're going to pay to build that road, not for the
Fostoria Tram, part of the big city.
We're talking about upgrades.
Yes.
It's already built.
they're going to upgrade the security road, the culverts, the LJ.
Make that motion.
So I have a motion by Commissioner Mars, second by, who made the second? Commissioner Grant. So we're contracting with this firm, it's $2 million. How are we getting away around the state bidding requirements? We're spending over $50,000.
We're not doing it.
They're doing the work.
All they're doing is donating time, money.
Who's putting up the money? They are. So we're not using taxpayer money to do it. Try to make that clear to everybody, because I see people looking at me, and I'm wondering the same thing. The coppers done focused the camera in on me over here.
The comment was made, now.
The money comes from the government.
The comment was made even on the TCQ deal that the county could not afford to do this. And he says, we will pay for the work to bring up this thing to do this. It's not in our taxpayer dollars.
That's an important part, because, if it was,
Then we need to talk about it.
so
In section 4, the one part I have is over here, where I get a continuing money there, doesn't say that in there.
they don't,
They're not going to continue.
it's already our obligation to make.
I get it, but if you got them on the hook, this thing needs to be in the verbiage that
Well,
while they're in operation, they will maintain the hook, because
Anybody here from DC?
we don't have, that's what I was saying.
okay, let me answer the question. What was discussion has been for maintenance on the road, and what they're suggesting, or one of the options they've come up with, is to use tipping fees to pay to keep the upkeep on the road.
Okay. Okay. So your tipping fees, a percentage of the go?
You asked me something?
Yes, sir.
Can I approach?
Yeah, sure. Absolutely.
We're anticipating that question coming up, and we were just throwing out potential solutions. Now, I'm not in position today to say, yes, we'll do it. The owner has said, hey, that's a possible solution if the maintenance is a concern. To be totally honest with you, we believe that road will sufficiently take the traffic that the site is potentially going. What the concern is what the railroad could potentially put on. And we have tried our best to find a study. Part of ours, we have to do a traffic study to show the anticipated flight increase. We have tried diligently to find a traffic study to show potentially what the railroad, how it would impact it, and we cannot find it. So, you gotta remember, that railroad, I know it's in Liberty County, but there's only two ways in, and they both come off by Cedar Train Road.
And I've talked to Robert Reynolds, he's under Cleveland, and we've been trying also, as far as we know, they did not do any traffic study. We also need that information for it. We have had no communication, we just said, this is a great contract. They probably won't get there, probably not. They probably will. The government don't want to have city prisoners and kind of leave it, it's out. So that's the stuff that we have to do, what we have to do.
Well, I mean, they're gonna have to add additional, because the state. I mean, the very next station, can they do with all documents and data and construction and repair of the road? No cost to the county upon request for PC without restriction of liability on the future use. That's the definition of any liability in use.
Like, you said,
I'm saying it.
They don't have any obligation right now, they're just, this is kind of like a one-shot deal.
All this is all if it gets approved.
right. And that's the concern, is because that can finish your motion. Add that in.
I'm fine with it. I'll be on the side if we can put that in here.
So we have a motion to close.
They're not going to be exclusive use for it.
Should we have a motion to put that language in there?
I'd like to see it.
Okay.
You want to add what?
Some kind of wording in there, as long as y'all are activating management or using management, there's gonna be some type of maintenance in there.
Yeah,
Right now.
that takes care of it.
And once it's seized, I agree, they're ready to take maintain it, right?
Let me ask you, I do have a question. Is it possible that money goes specifically to Garcia Trail?
Oh, yeah, that's one question.
We don't have people that, what's their rates?
Yeah, they already go through that.
Again, I don't have the authority to say yes, sir, to that, but I believe I can get it pretty soon.
Let's go to the
You can say where you make it in the motion,
If they tear the road up so bad they can't get up and down, it's,
That's what a lot of these new cars do. That's a new table, so that's. Very good, sir.
You know, always want to be the food. Our goal here, we put the project aside and spend much more money to get additional land that will come out and address some of the comments that the public made. But we want to make sure y'all can get it. That's the goal.
Yeah, so it's good. That way you give us a yes or no answer.
We actually considering not accepting the $2.1 million.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
But when it comes through, or when they do that, and get the draft letter, I would appreciate you looking at the before we come in. This one says it's not that different.
My only issue is, in the email is, saying, I guess, I didn't have no issues with it, I just, I know they're gonna fix you, go use it, but Mark brought it up where he wanted it. I didn't have an issue with it because they'll have to go up and down the road, and I promise you, the county guys over there that drive their cars and lights on, they can make that fix the road. Them lights in the waiting and go up and down the road all the time. Got a good point there. Those other ways to get them hit. So what do y'all think? Do you want to table it, or you want to, you just want to ask for the other thing, right? What do you want to do?
I want to approve it if that lane is getting in.
If they don't accept it, then we have to go back to the job.
All right, let's do it that way. I'll tell, my motion is that,
So we got to do it.
It says, within 10 days after effective date, Commissioner Brandon will notify TCEQ in writing of the issue rate January 2021 letter that is satisfied. I'm not sure what's in it.
That was a letter about the using the roads, yes, and J Harper and that. We said stuff on that, and if we would create, if they would have to put up the funds to fix the roads, exactly that.
Basically, this is an agreement for them to spend $2 million to fix our road. This gives them permission to do that. And they're paying for it. That's good. So there's no, I don't see them getting the requirement from the ground. Are they gonna pay roads and make it pay? They won't be turning them bills to us, so they make. All it's not ran through us.
That's why we ran it through the DA and had him review it with the DA.
Do you understand that section 4 and C and D, whatever?
Yes,
You're
sir.
saying that the county, that y'all are not allowed to want to fix it?
But, you know, in trade, I mean, in all due respect, we don't feel like we're liable now. But we know what Commissioner Brandon told us is concerned with us. And we acknowledge that. And so that's why we're trying to say, hey, we'll put up money. We went, felt like we got a good estimate, ran it past them, and said, hey, we'll put up the money to approve it. And again, our only estimate is, and I have no knowledge, but that railroad, I mean, it could put twice as much traffic on it than we are. I truly understand it's in Liberty County, but, you know, the only two ways in and out of that is off the Sierra Trail Road for 1,200 acres of development, that whole thing is, comes in by truck and leaves by rail, comes in by rail and leaves by truck, so.
And I'm sure Mr. Brandon addressed that issue when it comes to it. And let's be reasonable here.
Yes, sir.
I'll assure you, 90% of that railroad traffic is not going to go down Fostoria Tram. But there is no way. When they're toting the loads they tote, first thing is, they can't make that corner down there.
Which point?
At 1725. That's a dangerous intersection. They're not going to go that way. I'm in that business, I'll assure you of that. 90% of traffic won't go down that road. It'll be y'all's traffic going up down the road.
Yes, sir. Let me ask one other question.
Yeah.
If you think about 1,200 acres that come out of railroad crossings, you don't think, if they're going to the Dallas area, would it be easier to go 105 with the congestion that's going there, all the way to Conroe, and go out back out 1725?
Yeah, the funds they're already doing jobs in that way station in Blue Radio.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm here. I don't mean to get, we want to do what the county wants to.
I just got a problem with the contract saying roads should be maintained and repaired by the.
Oh, I understand.
And limitations, y'all have limitations on the future.
But he can't make that decision, man.
It's already his road.
But he just sat down there and said he couldn't make that decision. That's the reason. Is that true? Is that true?
Again, I cannot say, hey, I mean, there's been discussions and we talked with, Commissioner Brandon, that, what is that number? Is it, how much is it a year you think needs to be put in flood zone? And will it go?
In the what?
It's in some type of,
We don't have that no more.
okay,
Whatever y'all want to do.
but we're here to work with that. No question.
Yes, Governor.
If I may, part of this may be part of the perspective that the court should be reminded of. Commissioner Brandon made his comments on the TCEQ website based upon an earlier report from their first application. And basically what that report says is what I consulted with TCEQ said the existing access roads are considered to be adequate to handle the estimated increase in traffic volume associated with the proposed facility. That comment was meant for Jayhawker, Fostoria Tram, and for Rayback. They miscommunicated the finishes on Jayhawker called the full asphalt road, which anybody that looks at that will tell you that that's not the case. That immediately put PC to reevaluate what the conditions of the access road were. They took that as a problem, a real problem. Went in and purchased additional property, completely changed the access to the facility to where it's barely it goes directly across the track. That eliminated any of the problems that we would have in that neighborhood with Jayhawker and Lakewood. So this solution has been kind of a stepwise function. We've come to a solution that meets both parties. When we first started talking about this 2 years ago, PC2, the way said, we don't have any responsibility to take care of county roads. The county was way over here. We said, no, what we want is to fix all of the radar and all that stuff, and we want a 4-lane concrete road from 1745 to 105. Well, that comment pretty much met with frowns and disapproval, as was their comment. We have taken this and stepwise function to come to a figure that we can both live with and bring Fostoria Tram to a text doc standard and specification that meets or exceeds anything else we have in the code. And Rayjack and Jayhawk are no longer part of the problem. Because the new access road eliminates them. So they're willing to come in there and improve cross storage grounds for textiles, do the engineering, do the drawings, do everything that's necessary to get it done, and pay for it themselves. Now, the county still has an obligation to take care of the road. And how are we going to do that? I'm kind of like Mr. Commissioner Jacinto, I'm a little bit unhappy that they say they don't have any responsibility. But indeed, they really don't. We do. Well, what the county has done in the past is use road agreements with the actual users of the road. PC2 is not going to be using the road, they're just partners in the facility. We may need in the future to know who their suppliers and who their customers are and have road agreements and bonds with those people. So this next step is the way we're going to take care of this. And the third step of that is exactly that, road agreements with the actual users. CDMPs may be part of it, but road agreements would be another part of it. We might want information from the PC2 on who's using it. But I don't know how we bite this apple off all in one step. I have tried to quantify uses of roads for trucks and what the damage is on asphalt roads. I can't find any information. TxDOT doesn't have it. California doesn't have it. Colorado doesn't have it. Indiana doesn't have it. Wisconsin doesn't have it. So I can't give you a mathematical formula for X numbers of trucks is going to cause X numbers of damage. Neither do I. But I personally feel very similar to PC2. I think that this will take care of cross storage grounds in the short run, which the short run would be a construction period, and some period of operation, which would likely be more than 3 years and less than 7 or 8. So somewhere between 3 years in the future and 7 years in the future, we may have some maintenance issues. How can we say that PC2 is fully responsible for that? And there is a fairness thing here somewhere. Yes, they've gone pretty far to meet our requirements. I'm not 100% happy with it. But I think that we might be able to look at it, and maybe that's what the motion should say, that in the future, we need information from PC2 as to traffic counts and who is coming into the facility. The county also has a secondary problem with our own solid waste management issues. Maybe we can incorporate some of that into this agreement or our future agreement. But if you look at this in a stepwise function, this is a good step forward. But I don't think that it's the last agreement that we're going to have with PCT.
So you know contracts, right? Not in the contract, it doesn't exist.
I agree with
It
you.
says in there that the tenants take that road forever, then they're not liable. I say take that out of the contract.
Then maybe the motion can modify that number clause.
It's C, number C, it's section 4.
Yes, sir. Okay, sir.
But this gentleman here came out.
I was looking at in that
That's what I said. If they was in there for motions, and I was sitting on anything. I look at it like that was fair and free with everybody.
but if it says I think you're not going to do all of something.
Well, if we put that in the motion, continue.
I make a motion to approve this contract in section 4, item C being the rules of compliance.
I'll second. All right.
Section 4, what?
Section 4, C.
Okay, so now they've signed this thing. The only way it goes back, they'll either redraft it if they agree to that, or they initial this.
It's not saying no, Ron, it's just saying that you cannot be doing it.
I got you, yes, sir.
So section 4C, motion is to
I hope y'all get it open real soon because I got a bunch of garbage trucks that you come there.
All right, the new motion by Commissioner Jacinto, so one by Mr. Mars is rescinded. I have a new motion by Commissioner Jacinto to approve the agreement with the deletion of section 4C. That was seconded by Commissioner Brandon. Any other comments? All in favor say aye. Any opposed? Ayes have it, it's unanimous, 4-0.
I have a quick question.
Yes, sir.
Are y'all gonna have scales? They're gonna be on the scale system over there?
Yeah, the application does include scale, the way it's structured.
Okay, so y'all gonna be like Republic and
Yes.
Lexington and all that?
Yes.
Any ideas, are y'all gonna be competitive with other things? Y'all gonna be?
Yeah, we won't, yes, sir, there's no doubt about that. We want to, it's hard to answer that question, not saying the answer.
I'm on the sanitation up on that.
Oh, I got you.
Well, I guess it's the side of it, but it's the version that I'm signing. I got that one paragraph.
Yes.
It's not binding on y'all until y'all acknowledge it. Have it done. That's the way I would do it.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Item number 26, consideration, discussion, possible vote to approve necessary action for the innovation center. Anything going on with that?
Well, the floors have been clean and finished, right? Water came on, yesterday.
That's the air conditioner, we're still waiting until December.
Also, there's a letter there on the sign that needs to be modified.
Being good, dude.
You said there's a letter here? There's a letter, what'd you say about a letter?
Oh, I mean, a letter on the sign.
Yeah, I was at the desktop meeting, and somebody sent me a picture in the front that was misspelled or something like that.
Well, it wasn't misspelled, it just wasn't finished, however, the
The letters were this color, and you couldn't see them in the background. Only could see the ones they had painted. I think that was better than misspelled. All right, nothing we need to take action on?
No, sir, I think we're going to stop that.
Ms. Tricia, is there some personnel type issues that need to be addressed in the executive session?
I have one too. I have one too.
11:09, let the record reflect that 11:09, we're going to adjourn and go into executive session. Discuss personnel issues. 551, 174 personnel matters, deliberating. All right, let the record reflect it's 11:43. We've adjourned executive session, talked about some personnel issues. No action is required. Taken as a result of the conversations in the executive session. Move to item number 6. Well, I'm going to move to item 5, announcement possible discussion of public and community interest. I meant to ask about,
This is community interest. Farm ban?
that's what I was going to go into.
Thank you.
What's it looking like in y'all's precincts?
We had fun last night.
I can sign a thing that takes it off, but I don't ever do it until I consult the commissioners and make sure they might be dry. I remember when Imelda came through, we had like 12 inches of rain in the south end, and he was still under a burn ban up there on the north. Yeah. That's not the case now, so if it's all the same, it's only on for another 3 days, but if it's all the same with y'all, I just said, take it off. Okay. When I get back to my office, I've been having calls and.
Hold on, D. Thank you.
Don't burn the county down, Lou.
Part-time, getting paid up, okay?
All right, item number 6, consider approval of claims. This thing, as long as an investigator in one of the murder cases, they have a lawyer. I have a motion by Commissioner Natuno, a second by Commissioner Brandon to pay the bills. Any questions? All in favor say aye. Any opposed? Ayes have it unanimous, 3-0. For the record, Commissioner Morris, after executive, had another engagement he had to go. Number 7, consider approval of budget amendments and revenue certification.
Do you have any?
Didn't see any. All right, well, we don't have any minutes to approve. I'd entertain a motion to adjourn. Got a second over there? All in favor? Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. Have a blessed day.